has been a request for a video on how I make bean cakes, a recipe video. I've never done one of these before, but I figure it's pretty close to like making a read making video. So you requested and I'm gonna give it to you. Let's get started. Okay, for this recipe, you are going to need about 2.5 cups of dried black beans, some whole cumin seed. If you already have the ground, that's okay, that will work too. A bunch of fresh flat leaf parsley, and salt. Here I am using the Himalayan pink salt. This is available at health food stores or Whole Foods, and I find it has a really rich flavor to it, and it is also free of a lot of additives that you'll find in salt. Some fresh black pepper, which will grind. It will help purify the blood. Some garlic. We'll use about 6 cloves of garlic. You can use less if you have an important event coming up. Some onions, and also a little bit of the extra virgin olive oil. Here we have about 2.5 cups of dried black beans that have been soaking in lightly salted water for 3 hours to get them to reconstitute. After they've been soaking for 3 hours, I go ahead and I pour out the excess water, straining them slowly. Now, this next step is going to be, I think, one of the most instrumental in making beans from scratch. And what I'm going to do is run cool water over them until the water runs clear. This step right here, I believe, is one of the most important because by getting the extra residue off the beans, you are limiting the amount of gas that you can end up with from eating beans. I'm not saying you will not get gas, but it will be limited, less than you would have if you did not do this step. So be sure to rinse the beans until the water runs clear. From here, I'm going to move them into a large cast iron baking dish. If you don't want to make as many beans as I'm showing here, you can do them with a smaller amount, just reduce all of the ingredients. I'm cooking roughly for about 4 or 5 days right here. Now you can see how often I make these bean cakes because I have a water line of how far I need to fill the pot. But for you, because you might be just trying this recipe for the first time, make sure that you fill the water just until it's about 2 inches over the beans that you're making. I swirl them around as well to make sure that I'm getting water underneath all of the beans and I don't have any that are broken or not okay to cook. From here, I move them to the stove to go ahead and heat up. I'm going to bring them to a boil and then reduce to a simmer. I'm adding a little bit of salt to, again, add flavor. Here they are coming to a boil and I'm reducing the heat. This next part, it's so amazing. I can't believe I got it on film. Do you see the happy face? Look at the happy face. I can't believe this happened. It's the magic of cooking at home. All right, I put him to sleep and the beans are going to simmer now for 70 minutes. In the meantime, I'm gonna move on to my other ingredients and get them ready to go. I have about 6 cloves of garlic here that I am going to smash so that the peels are easily removed. I watched Dr. Oz at one point and he said that by smashing the garlic and then also waiting 10 to 12 minutes before using it in a heat element, which I will be doing, that you release a lot of the antioxidants in the garlic. So I am doing this as my first step. From here, I'm gonna clear off my board and then get ready to slice my onions. I'm gonna use about 1.5 onions as part of this recipe. If there are larger onions, then maybe less, smaller, more. It's just kind of what you know you like. I know I love onions and garlic, so there are a lot of them in my bean cakes. Those little peels there I will end up saving and utilizing for my own homemade chicken stock. Okay, so here we go. We've got some diced onions ready to go. From here, I'm going to take a large pan with just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and I'm gonna heat that on a low, slow heat. From there, I'm going to add in the onions that I have sliced up and a little bit of salt to help the onions release their juices as they cook on that slow heat. By keeping it low and slow, it keeps the onions and garlic that I will be adding in a moment from burning. I add a little bit of pepper as well to keep the richness of the flavor in the seasonings. Here you can see my sous chef diligently helping out and waiting to taste test the goods. From here, I am putting the garlic that I have smoshed through a garlic press so that I do not have to spend a whole bunch of time chopping each of those. And I stir that around with the onions. From here, I am taking a little bit of fresh flat leaf parsley cut from my kitchen garden out back. Still a little bit with the end of the summer available to me. I find by using flat leaf parsley, it has a richer flavor than the curly parsley that is usually the more dominant one you'll see on plates. Then I take some fresh cumin seed that I have and I put it on a low heat. You can tell it's a low heat because I'm still able to reach my hand in and make sure that they are not too hot, but they are releasing their oils. From here, I will grind these with a mortar and a pestle to help them release their flavors and still keep a little bit of texture. I read a book on Hindu cooking and it said that the herbs were given to us by Ganesh, so I do sit and chant to Ganesh as I grind these. Theoretically, I am imbuing the food with the vibration of my voice and the prayers to Ganesh. Not sure if it works, but it feels good, so I go with it. Now I still have some time to kill until the beans are done, so I sit down and read my book. Right now I'm reading Lena Dunham's Not That Kind of Girl. And then after a little bit, I will probably work on a little bit of training with Coco. Okay, Coco. Roll over. Down. Good girl. Shake. Good girl. Down, roll over, come on, roll over, come on, you can do it, good girl. Can you do it on your own? From here, the beans are finally cooked, so I am gonna go ahead and strain them. Note I have hot mitts on because those beans are hot, steaming hot. Do be careful as you are straining them. I will move them to a bigger bowl after all the water has been removed from them so that I can easily add the other seasonings to them. I like to do this while the beans are still hot in order for them to absorb all of the flavors. So the cooked onions and garlic get added to the mixture, then the flat leaf parsley, the ground cumin then goes in, some more of the pink Himalayan salt. I find that by using really key quality ingredients, even though they're simple, it adds a depth and density to the flavor. Then a little bit of freshly ground pepper, and then I'm just gonna blend all of those in with my wooden mixing spoon. From here, I take a pastry blender and I scrape off the edge of my spoon, leaving all of those good bits inside the bowl and not on the spoon, and I start smoshing them together. This is one of my favorite parts. It's very rewarding to smosh all of the beans. They are still warm, so do be careful. You can see them steaming a little bit. I did give it some time to cool down, but I was a little hungry, so I went for it. From here, I am going to make them into little palm-sized patties or little cakes. I am going to move them onto a plate. Now, epic fail, I somehow did not manage to get my hand making them into patties, but here's what they look like. Now, if I want to go ahead and store them for the week, I will take a slightly dampened towel and cover them up and place them in the fridge so that they'll last a couple of days without drying out. But tonight I'm hungry and, well, the sous chef better check to make sure that they are good enough to eat. Yep, they're Coco approved. So it's time to make myself some dinner. I have here another pan. In this pan is some extra virgin olive oil. It is heated. Do be sure that it is warm before you add the bean cakes. If you do not make sure that the oil is warm, they will stick to the bottom of the pan. Here they are cooking along, just slowly but surely, browning on the underside. Once I'm pretty sure that they're ready to be flipped, I take my fork and slip it underneath and give them a quick toss, making sure they're good to go. I give them an equal amount of time on each side. I do stir them to make sure that they are still not sticking to the pan, making sure I'm getting oil underneath. And when I think they're done, I give them one last little flip just to be sure yeah, those guys are good to go. It's time to get ready to plate these. I turn off my heat and I have a bed of spinach already waiting for them, and then I move the bean cakes onto the bed of spinach. They're warm and they slightly wilt the spinach, giving such a great flavor. In the mornings, I might even add an egg over easy on top. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. If you don't want to miss a video, be sure to subscribe, and if you go ahead and make these, go ahead and send me an Instagram and tag me in it so I can see all of your cooking endeavors. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.